Torrance is wearing his PvP clothes once again, 242.1 DPS, and that's with a full rack of 200mm Tech 1 autocannons. We came out here to Curse looking for meta 200mm autocannons in order to increase Torrance's damage output, and that was largely a bust, but we increased it way more in the end by getting our hands on that Angel Cartel ammo. We've got bubbles in our hold. Let's go find a likely system in Curse to cause a bit of trouble. So here we are in Armok. It's not literally a pipe system, but it might as well be, because YKE4 is a quiet little dead-end system that basically no one has any reason to go to. So the traffic in the system is pretty much all going to be from the KTAC Q gate to the Hemmen gate and back. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our bubble on the KTAC Q gate in a warp path from Hemmen. Now what's interesting about the system particularly is that KTAC Q is the starting system of the Angel Epic Arc, Angel Sound, which we ran way back in the early episodes. Which means that people are going to be coming out from Losec through Hemmen to KTAC Q to run the arc. So placing our bubble here, we actually have a decent chance of catching people in combat fit frigates, but hopefully in combat fit frigates that are not prepared to deal with a high DPS Archangel ammunition sling and thrasher, because they're planning instead to run some level 1 missions. We'll see how this works. We might die immediately. And now we wait. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. A quick reminder on why we're doing this. As has been apparent in the last couple of episodes, and as has been a running theme throughout the series, some types of items are very difficult for us to get our hands on. Not only things like the meta autocannons we've been chasing after, but also faction and dead space items, and especially T2 items. And some of these modules that are like white whales for Bill are actually extremely cheap on the market, so other players are flying around flaunting how easily they can get their hands on them. We were so excited last episode to kill that Sino Venture and loot a T2 cargo hold expansion, a module that was not even within the realm of things we might possibly consider building. But on the market, it's so cheap that the Sino pilot was quite happy to throw it on a literally disposable ship. Not to mention that there are some items that are actually impossible for us to acquire within the rules of our run by any means other than PvP. I'm talking about things like the Sister Core scanner probes that we have back in Thera. You get them from the Sisters of Eve loyalty point store, and we have no way to get Sisters of Eve loyalty points. We don't necessarily need things like T2 cargo hold expanders or Sisters Core scanner probes, but when a good PvP opportunity presents itself, we have a chance to make a gamble. We can place one Thrasher and one Bubble on the bet line and stand to win an unknown loot bag of T2 modules that might change our whole game. If we have the patience for it. Book 19. Dawn, in her saffron-colored dress, arose out of the streams of ocean to bring light to deathless gods and mortals. It is according to the will of gods that he is gone once and for all. Oh, from this near gate. Oh, and a spike from the far gate simultaneously. That's interesting. Someone came in from this side, and someone came in from the other side at the same time. Both of them in shuttles. How boring. How boring. Now you must take this glorious set of armor forged by Hephaestus, which no other man has ever worn. With this, the goddess slayed. Come on now, hurry, urge the long-haired Greeks to if they escape from slaughter by my spear. Okay, so Curse is actually quite a bit quieter than Syndicate. I spent 2 hours camping Armok Tac yesterday with a small bubble, and did not catch a single person. Everyone who passed through was either flying in shuttles, or the couple of people who passed through in ships that my bubble might have caught were unfortunately smart enough to warp off to Celestial and miss the bubble. So 2 hours of my life spent sitting in this bubble with nothing to show for it. But I was also playing at a particularly quiet time of day, so I'm going to give this one more shot. Space seems a little bit more active today. We've got our bubble back in the same spot. Let's see if we can't catch ourselves something worth killing. Zeratul, yeah. Let's jump into the system. What's your deal, Zeratul? With Pandemic Horde for almost 5 years. As Pandemic Horde taught you not to warp gate to gate in your capsule. Hello, Zeratul. Sorry to do this to you, but it is a matter of necessity. The kill mail for a capsule will sometimes take a minute to show up. When it does, I will be very, very surprised if there's anything at all in the kill mail. You do not warp gate to gate in a pod in nullsec if you're carrying implants. Yeah, no items found. We still kill him, of course, just in case there are more members of Pandemic Horde in the immediate area. It's better not to leave a capsule sitting in local, especially when we have no combat probes to evict it with. Just to keep eyes out of the system. Capsules don't drop loot, but loot is not the only in-game reason to blow someone up. Zeratul, yeah. Isn't that the guy I just killed? That's the guy I just killed. Is he back in a combat ship? He's back in a shuttle. Oh, good, he's learned. Of course, come on through. Safe travels, Zeratul, yeah. The malediction. I need to switch away from fusion. That's not the right damage type. To shoot at an Amartec 2 ship. He's landed in my bubble. Got him. Oh. I totally messed up the capture there. That's frustrating. Reapus Small. I'm in the process of unanchoring my bubble, and I burnt out as an Enosis. I need to be worried about the possibility of him MJDing onto me. No, he's warping off. Okay. Oh, there's an industrial Sino lit. There are a fair number of people in local, though. But I'm tempted to go for that Sino just to get the possibility of that module drop that we know is so good for us. It's a venture, which means it's got a good chance that it's got expanded cargo holds. 2 ventures. We're going to go for this kill, but we have to be very cautious about someone undocking because there's so many people in local. We're going to burn in nice and close, and then we're going to align to a safe spot before we open fire. Venture down. Tech 2 modules looted. Off to the safe spot. Okay, so I've reviewed the footage from earlier today of that failed malediction capture, and it's pretty embarrassing. I didn't catch the malediction because I failed to turn on my micro-warp drive for the first couple of seconds after I landed. I also didn't overheat my tackle mods when I definitely should have. So now I'm back, got a new bubble in roughly the same spot, and I'm going to try and redeem myself. If we don't catch anything here in the next, I don't know, hour or so, then I'm going to pick up this bubble and move over to an even busier part of Curse. Even busier. Even busier than the absolute ghost town that is Armok Tech. We're still going to get Torrance, a proper kill that's not a Sino venture or a capsule. One way or another. It would be reasonable at this juncture to ask why we keep sitting here, camping this bubble, when no one seems to be falling into our trap. We're hours in and we have nothing whatsoever to show for our time. The rationale I gave before does still stand. We could spend a dozen hours sitting here before we get a single kill, but if that kill, when it comes, drops us T2 guns, or T2 afterburner, or Sisters probes, then the hours we spent will be nothing compared to the time it would have taken for us to build those things in any other way, if we even can, build them. But I hope it's been apparent throughout this run that I'm more concerned with fun than I am with efficiency. After all, this is possibly the least efficient way to play EVE Online that anyone has ever conceived. When I do talk about optimizing my time throughout this run, I'm really talking about optimizing joy. That's the subtext, the joy I get from the game. And where we find joy in this game is going to be different for each of us. Some players actually do find incredible joy out of optimizing, min-maxing their ISK per hour. I mean, sometimes I do too. But I also really do deeply enjoy this kind of ambush predator gameplay. What we're doing right now. Even if I seem, impatient and frustrated at certain points in the process, I also know that the time I'm spending waiting for that gate to fire is just extra spice for the endorphin rush that I'm going to feel when we finally do get a kill. And strangely enough, I know myself well enough to know that that endorphin rush is going to be nearly as sweet if I die spectacularly as it will be if I get the kill of a lifetime. If that's not the way you're wired, if this just looks tedious and risky to you, that's fine too. Don't spend your time solo bubble camping. But it is the way I'm wired. I love it. I honestly do think that fishing like this for T2 modules is an efficient use of my time within the rules of the run. But I also think that whether or not it's efficient is a secondary concern compared to the joy I'm going to feel when our patience finally pays off and we catch something juicy, like a mission ship, or a blockade runner, or a Cove Ops. Give it time, give it enough time, and it's bound to happen. Any second now. Cast Iron Strox has come through from the near gate, so we won't catch him anyways. In a Loki. Well, that's not great. A Loki has cloaked up and knows exactly where we are stationed, so we cannot really safely go back to camping until Castian Strax leave system. So that Loki pilot came back and blew up my bubble, which means it's time to head back to KTAC-Q where I have a couple of spare bubbles already stored. I guess that also means it's finally time to move on and find a different system to camp since Armok TAC has been so quiet. So I'm heading over to Leom now, which is in the further west end of Curse, over next to the entry to Ketch. And Dotland suggests that Leom is about twice as active as Armok is, and it's a proper pipe system, only 2 gates. Okay, Leom is empty, and the Jimena gate is 22 AU away. I'm going to try and put the bubble on the Jimena gate, because again, that's the direction away from Empire space. Jabber Fixed has jumped into local. Member of Viral Society. Does not seem to be a PvP pilot based on his Z-kill. Landed my bubble. There are stations in the system. So even if someone didn't jump in through the Jimena gate, we have to bear in mind that they could have logged in at one of these stations, or he could have jumped in through Utopia and then warped to the Leom 11 station, in which case he would never show up in my D-scan. Unlike Armok, there are reasonable places for people to go that aren't to my bubble. And also, unlike Armok, for the same reasons, people might sit around in local for quite a bit longer. They don't necessarily have to be cloaked or out in space to do so. They could just be docked up. So we're going to have to accept a little bit higher risk if Jabberfix doesn't leave system, because him sitting in local is not going to stop us from doing what we're doing. There's a whole lot going on in system suddenly. Raptor. Number of different corps though. They're not all together. They're not all together, which means somebody could easily stumble into my trap. 2 more people in local. Or 3 more people in local. All jumped at the exact same time. All members of Horde. Nothing on D-scan yet. 3 Ishtars. If all 3 of these Ishtars get caught in my bubble at once, it would be hilarious, and I'll be very sad that I'm camping this bubble alone. Because I cannot kill 3 Ishtars in Torrance the Thrasher. But no, they don't seem actually to be landing in my bubble anyways. Uh-oh. That's bad news. Very, very aggressive tackling that rapier, but he was right there, and you never know when he might not be fit. Fortunately, he didn't have a scram, so I was still able to pull out of the bubble and warp off when it was clear that he was in fact going to kill me. All he needed to do to be able to beat me there, basically, was have a single missile launcher fit. That's not quite true. But if he was in anything approaching a combat fit, there was no way I was going to win that. But sometimes people fly in very weird travel fits, so you never know. My decloak cans did catch him, though. He did not come to get me on purpose. He warped cloaked and landed right on top of me. Proof of concept. Now I am going to need to dock up and repair the damage to my ship and modules. Rapier's decloaked near Jimena Gate. Hopefully that means he's jumping and not destroying my bubble. He's gone. Good. Back to my perch. Things are looking quite a bit quieter now. That's nice. This does make it less hazardous for us to hang out here. And also reduces how on their toes other people are going to be when they jump into system. Furion Varian. Member of Fraternity. Got some kills. He's in an Anathema. An Anathema uncloaked. He's landing in my bubble. We've caught an Anathema. Covert Ops ship down. Oh, finally. That's what we've been waiting for forever. Is to get our kill, get a Covert Ops kill. Oh, I'm so excited about that. All right. What do you have for us? What the f... Thanks for watching. I know this was a relatively short episode, but this seemed like a very natural breakpoint. The next one won't be long in coming, and I hope you'll join me as we figure out where to go from here. Cue the YouTube comments reminding me that I have an Astro blueprint sitting back in LowSec in 3, 2,